Dealing with trauma is hard because it's less about getting over it and moving on as it is about accepting it and knowing that it's a part of you. But by finding connection and sharing our experiences with each other, we can learn that we're not alone in that struggle, even in a galaxy far, far away. We're talking about Jedi Fallen Order. What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3VO, where we're all on the same team. I'm your host today, Jordan.
And I'm the other host, Existential Dread.
And if you're new here, we are just two big old nerds that just absolutely love video games and love talking about them. So if you two have a deep passion for games like us and Existential Dread, apparently, this is definitely the podcast for you. Today we're going to be talking about the Star Wars title Jedi Fallen Order. But before we jump into all of that, as usual, Brendan, how have you been?
I have been. So we just got off of the holiday weekend.
We did Thanksgiving, first one.
Thanksgiving, which is the first of the holiday season. So a lot of time spent with family. I also met with my baker for my wedding coming up in February this weekend.
So exciting.
I met with the baker this weekend for my wedding that's coming up in February. So it was a busy weekend, but it was good. We got a lot of rest in. I played a lot of the game that we're going to be talking about today. I got a tattoo since the last episode.
It's so good. It's so cool. Sorry to audio listeners. I don't know if it's going to...
Ding.
We'll post it on that. We'll just post it on
we'll throw it up there.
Because it's nerd-worthy to be on our Instagram.
Very nerd-worthy. So yeah, I've just been keeping on.
There you go.
Yeah, how about you?
It's been good. A lot of time being put into playing this game. I forgot, it's such a long game with so much shit you gotta do to it that literally I wrapped up playing it this morning. So there's that. Then just work, also getting more involved with some of the planning stuff for the wedding for you guys and whatnot, which is very, very exciting. It gets cooler and cool. It gets more exciting the closer and closer we get.
We're 65 days away.
It's so
as of today
close, and I am the most excited flower girl you've ever met in your life.
My dad is still talking about how awesome it is that you're going to be a flower.
I am thrilled. You have no idea. This is the best.
So great.
I'm so excited. But for gaming news, fairly excited. We'll start with a positive thing here first. Very excited. Finally got to pick up the Miles Morales Spider-Man game.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it was on sale, and the wife was just like, "Get it for yourself. You've wanted this."
Nice.
I'm just like, "You're right."
Nice.
So I grabbed that. Another little thing I kind of want to mention off the top here. This isn't necessarily going out to anybody in particular online. It is. Just because you call something a gamer word doesn't mean it's not a slur. And if you say it, just say sorry and fucking move on.
I have no idea
That's
what you're
all.
actually talking about.
There's a bit of a thing online where sort of, and I don't mean this in a diminishing way, but sort of a smaller end streamer was on a charity stream. He called another player the F slur, and instead of just coming online and being like, "That was bad of me. I'm sorry. I apologize." He called it a gamer word, which is apparently a thing for whenever people use a slur online, and did the full on I got gay friends, so I can't be homophobic nonsense.
Oh, that old song and dance.
Yeah, that whole wonderful thing. So just stop using the words. Why are we still doing this? Oh, and also tried to pull the defense of well, I didn't say the N-word. Because that's the only slur that exists in the English language, or any other language for that matter. So, yeah, just been a decent amount of my time this weekend on Twitter, just having to explain
Yikes.
why it's bad that he said that word.
That's so nutty.
I know.
Oh, man.
That we still have to argue these things.
Well, I hope that streamer kind of maybe comes around and realizes maybe I shouldn't have doubled down on this. Maybe I should just own up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have a little bit of sympathy at a certain point, because there's some of these things, I grew up in a time frame in high school and middle school and stuff where saying that was still kind of accepted for the most part. It's never been okay to say it.
Right.
It's never been okay. But it was something that just got passed around so much that for a long time it didn't hit me as hard as it does now, really knowing the damage that those words really, really do have on people. And so when I have respect for people who are trying to remove those kind of words from their vernacular, but when you say it and you get caught up in it, just say sorry and move on. Like this would not have been a big fucking deal
Doesn't have to be
if you had just said something and moved on from it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird being a person that might be called that slur.
Right.
It's weird because in the gay community, it's kind of tossed around, not unlike the N-word.
Right.
But it's still uncomfy to me.
Yeah.
I still don't use that, but sometimes when I hear it, out of a drag queen or something, I'm like, blah, it's funny. So it's a weird, kind of middle ground I find with the F slur.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I'm bisexual and I do not feel comfortable throwing it around or saying it to my friends. Like that. It's just, it feels icky. I don't think anyone should be using, but like you said, I don't really come down hard on anybody who is an active part of the community saying.
I don't think it's on the same level as the N slur. By no means.
Yeah. Let's make that clear really quickly here. We're not saying
not the same at all.
No. Different levels here, guys. We understand that. We know.
Yeah.
There was something else we wanted to mention kind of at the top of this thing.
Yeah, so in the last episode, we mentioned that we were going to be putting together a Patreon that our lovely listeners could subscribe to contribute a little bit to us in our endeavors and maybe keep the lights on around here. So we are still very much in the planning stages of setting that up, but you will be hearing more about it as we get closer to actually launching the Patreon page, and we will be giving out details as far as what tiers you can subscribe at, what perks you might be getting. So more on that later. Nothing really to announce right now other than we're still working on it. Still look forward to it.
Mm-hmm. And with that, please, if you have any thoughts or ideas of stuff you'd like to maybe see from us, understand we are limited in our budget and our capabilities and resources right now. However, feel free to throw out ideas to us. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and just let us know. Because we're brainstorming ourselves here, so is there anything you think would be kind of cool to see from us on there?
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's within reason of things that we can do, feel free to let us know, please.
You can always write suggestions on the back of a $100 bill and send it in to us, and we will definitely take the time to read your suggestion and maybe put it into practice.
If you send it to us on money, we will definitely read it.
More than likely.
All right, now that all the pleasantries are out of the way, let's jump into Jedi Fallen Order. In Jedi Fallen Order, you play as Cal Kestis, a young Padawan who has lost his connection with the Force and is trying to regain that connection again. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this game in terms of the gameplay, the exploration aspects. How it just feels like Star Wars. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, so I want to definitely jump into that while we're on here.
Yeah.
Something that didn't hit me the first time I played this game, or even the second or third time, was only on this run through of playing it, that the themes of dealing with trauma and using empathy as a way to connect with people and understanding their pain and where they're coming from is so amazingly prevalent. And to get subject matter like that in something like this from a AAA title, from something that is as commercial as Star Wars is, it just, maybe it's the year we've had. And my ever-growing theory that empathy is kind of dead and we don't teach it anymore to people. It was just really nice to kind of see some of those ideas and virtues kind of put back into certain modern lexicon again, I guess. This was your first time playing this game, right? Mm-hmm. So just impressions first time out. What are your thoughts? So
I was very impressed with the gameplay, the ease at which it was to pick it up, because the last game that I played was, or the last Star Wars game rather that I played was Force Unleashed, I want to say.
Okay.
And that was on the Wii, and that was when motion controls were a thing.
Yes.
So it was very different.
Yeah.
You know? Now I liked that game a lot, but it was very different from this one. The other previous Star Wars game that I played before that one was Shadows of the Empire, which was on the N64.
Oh my god, I remember that game.
Recall that game.
I remember that game, yeah.
Which does not feel like a Star Wars game at all.
It really
feels
doesn't.
like Turok, but I digress.
True.
I really, really loved this game. And one of the things that stood out to me a lot was how big it was. I thought it was going to be kind of, not itty bitty, but smaller in scale.
Yeah.
You know? Kind of more go to this planet, do this thing, go here, do this thing, go here, do this thing, you know, but like much smaller scale. I didn't expect there to be like a lot of backtracking, picking up of powers, platforming. Like I was very surprised, honestly, pleasantly surprised by the caliber of game it was.
Well, especially with your previous experience with it, like Force Unleashed is the prime example for me, which I played the crap out of. I love that game too. There's exploration and there's like stuff to do in it, but it's still very linear. In terms of, like,
right? It's like mission 1 is this, mission 2 is this, and it's like you don't have like a hub. You're not like you know, transporting yourself through different worlds.
Yeah. Well, and just like this one also has that feeling where it definitely could have been just like a very linear track of just like going from A to B to C to D, but it's like it really does, and it's a cool way to make the galaxy sort of like feel bigger in a way by making you go like no, you go here, okay, and then I go back here and here and here. And it's also a masterclass on like level economics in terms of like how to design your levels in a way that you can just like make it multi-purpose use and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like every time you go back to either Zepho or Kashyyyk or something like that, it feels like it's just a whole new area. But it was like, it was always there and locked behind like certain abilities and things like that. But yeah, it was just really fun.
Absolutely.
I just love the level design in the game.
If it was a 2D platformer, it would be a Metroidvania.
100%.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Because it does a lot of that, like, kind of open world, you can kind of go wherever you want aspect mixed with, but you can't get to there until you go here and get the thing, to go back here to open the gate, to you know, that whole song and dance.
It plays like a Tomb Raider or an Uncharted. In a way that it's just like the exploration and like running around and stuff like that and finding things and gaining abilities and going back and then jumping forward again. It's like, yeah. And so with that, let's just start talking about this fucking game.
Yeah.
This is just it's such a good game. Let's just get into it. So starting off in the game, you start off as Cal, who has been sort of left on this, not left. He's been surviving on this planet, working as like a junker of sorts, basically ripping apart spaceships and whatnot. And your first introduction to one of my favorites, tragically, in the game is a character named Prof.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Aptly named, no subtlety in Star Wars. Prof, Professor. He's sort of your tutorial character to get you used to running around the game and whatnot. It's just nice. But it also goes with that Star Wars thing of like introduce the mentor, kill the mentor, move forward,
Yeah.
Very
Star Wars.
Yeah, just to kind of use this as use Prof as a jumping up point. Something I realized going through when I was making the outline was that it was like, okay, now obviously we got to have our section for like naming our favorite characters and whatnot. Not a lot of characters in this game.
Not too many.
Like you never feel like, but this is a game that could very much feel like get cluttered with like trying to have too many things happening in terms of like characters and whatnot.
There's even less characters I'm seeing than you've put on this outline because one of them is put on there twice.
I was just listen, for this game we asked the question, who's your favorite character and why is it BD1?
Yeah.
So
100%. So before we get to BD1, I wanna say something at the top of this. Really, it's important to kind of tell everybody who's not familiar with this game at what point in the timeline this game takes place.
That's a very good point.
It's really important. So this is happening in between movies 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Not in chronological release order, but in actual canonical Star Wars order.
Yeah.
In between episode 3, which is
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Is it?
I think so. That's Revenge of the Sith. Something Revenge of the something. Wait. Yeah.
No, is
Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
I believe you, because I am not a Star Wars aficionado. Anyways, in between that one and episode 4, A New Hope.
Yes. Because, hold on. No, sorry.
Is it 5 Revenge of the Sith?
No,
6
5
is Revenge of the Sith.
No, 5 is Empire Strikes Back. 6 is Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
There we go.
We got there.
I had the VHSs when I was a kid.
Oh, me too. In that like
awesome.
3-pack.
Yes, with like the gold half faces on the side.
Yes, and the gold like shimmer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
so it happens in between episode 3, Revenge of the Sith,
yes,
and episode 4, A New Hope. So it's after the purge of the Jedi Order.
After Order
66.
It's like, I don't know if they actually say, but it's like it's a decent amount of years because when it happens, Cal's like a teenager, and then when we start the game, he's like in his 20s.
I would say he's like maybe 11 or 12.
11
honestly,
or 12
as a Padawan.
Okay,
that's kind of the vibe I got.
That would make sense.
And then like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
So at least 5 to 7 years after the Purge, I would say.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there because that's kind of important to set the stage
for
where this game is occurring, because it's after the Purge of the Jedis. So they're all of the ones that are surviving are in hiding.
Yes.
Like Cal.
Yeah.
Or dead.
They're pretty much hiding or dead.
And the Empire is in control of most of the galaxy for the most part.
Yeah, at this point, the Empire has taken complete control over pretty much everything, and have created a unit of what they call the Inquisitors that are sent after, their entire purpose is to go out and try to hunt down the remaining Jedi and kill them.
Right.
Well, kill them or turn them into Inquisitors.
Right, yeah.
Basically, whatever is easier for them, as it turns out.
Much, yeah. So that's kind of the inciting incident for the plot of what happens in Fallen Order is an Inquisitor shows up to get you.
Yeah. And then you run...
2 Inquisitors.
2 Inquisitors show up, yeah. That's one of my... I don't know why. It's a line that gets me. It's after, very clearly, Cal gets called out because he pulls out his lightsaber. And he gets chucked over to the Ninth Sister, which is the
bigger one.
The bigger one. And she's holding him over the cliff edge, and she goes, "I found the Jedi!"
Yeah. Just like, yeah, we know.
It was like, sure, you found him. Okay, fine.
Her sense of humor was kind of really amusing to me, actually.
It was lovely.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah.
The little bits of like humor and jokes in the game were like really, really well done. The writing is really, really good in this game.
Oh, yeah. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So... you get the fuck off of that planet, and then you go meet the best robot ever, BD-1.
BD-1 is so... Oh my god. I don't know how to explain it, other than he's just the most puppy dog perfect, just like robot companion you could have in a game.
Yeah. And
just like the little moments of like his and Cal's interactions when they're running around and stuff are some of my favorite stuff.
You know what it is? And I've only just thought about it. Like... R2-D2 has like an attitude and a personality, you know, that you know is R2. And so does BB-8.
Yes.
But they don't have the mobility to express like BD-1 does.
That is true.
You know, like, and for all intents and purposes, he's just a pair of legs and a face, BD-1.
Yeah.
But they get a lot of emotion out of that simple animation, really.
Whoever was in charge, whatever team who specifically was in charge of animating BD-1, fucking props.
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
You know what helps too is the ears.
His
little antenna ears.
Yeah,
that helps a lot. There's a lot of expression that's coming from that robot, which is why we're probably gravitating towards him so much.
Oh, probably,
but
for
he
sure.
is the cutest.
He is the cutest thing. Whenever you give him like an upgrade or a new stim pack, he does his little dance and gets all excited.
Can we talk about the love story between Cal Kestis and BD-1 too? I mean...
I don't want to call it a love story because I just compared BD-1 to a puppy dog. So I'm like, and that was way more the vibe that I got from it. So
I know.
I know.
Better love story than Twilight. You know.
Anything's a better love story than Twilight.
Cal loves that little guy so much.
He does, and that's my favorite thing about it.
I know. Like when you get separated in the prison, the bounty hunter prison.
And he's just, where's BD? Where's BD-1? It's like his ultimate goal.
And like I was sad too. I was like, is BD gonna get it? Like, I can't do this.
If something bad happened to BD-1, I would have broken my game. I had it digitally downloaded, but I would have somehow pulled it out of my system and broken it with my bare hands.
It's that meme of Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I have just gotten BD-1, and if anything happens to him, I will kill you. I will kill everyone in this room, and then myself.
And then myself is exactly what it is. You immediately are just kind of like, I would die for this tiny robot. Like,
absolutely.
Right away. And none of that is to discredit the rest of the crew that you have
not at all.
Though, because still just like some of the most interesting characters that I've seen in anything Star Wars related, particularly in games, because just like I'm forever fascinated by Seer, who is another Jedi who has been hiding out, but she was a Jedi Master originally, who through some basically through torture was forced to kind of lose her connection. Well, she made a connection to the dark side of the Force, which made her cut off her own connection to the Force in general because she didn't want to risk having to go through that again. And just another just like there is no just real quickly here for any Star Wars fans. This is not like a light Star Wars story necessarily. It's not as heavy as Rogue One is, but there's no character in this story that's just sort of like, oh, I'm just happy to be here. Like that doesn't really exist in this game. Even Grease, who was like the most like I would say primarily like comic relief focused character of the game, also has he's a broke gambler. Like
yeah.
So there's really no one in this game that you can look at and be like, where's like the general relief for like just making it feel a bit easier? Oh, honestly. It's nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's BD1.
Yeah, but even him, it's like you find out towards the end of the game that he sacrificed his own core memories in order to continue the mission of
Eno Cordova.
Yeah, Cordova. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the thing too, is that as you're going through this game, you're following along in the footsteps of another Jedi Master who has been able to figure out. You're searching for this holocron that has all the names of any Force-sensitive children that the Jedi Academy knew of before the fall of the Jedi. Right. So you're trying to get to that before the Empire gets to it.
Right.
Which is all of the lovely questions that get posed in terms of like how to handle that and like what to do with the kids once you find them. Is it better to take them in and start training them, or to just let them exist and make sure that nobody knows who they are?
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit and kind of connect the dots.
I'm a little all over the place in this episode. My apologies.
No, we talked about a lot of characters, but let's just kind of like connect the dots, I think. So
yes.
You get kind of ousted by the Inquisitors on Bracca, and you're running away because they know that you're a Jedi now. And you get picked up by Seer and Grease, who we talked about. They're like, come with us. And you're like, okay, you're not the Inquisitor, so sure.
Yeah.
And they take you off to this planet called Bogano, where they tell you about, there's this holocron from the Jedi. It's locked up. It's got a list of Force-sensitive children on it. And if we get it, then we can rebuild the Jedi Order. And that's kind of the overall main goal of the game is to, get in, get whatever we need to open the vault, get in there, get the holocron, and prevent the Empire from getting it so that they can't go after all of these Force-sensitive children.
Yeah.
And then also, now we have the name so we can rebuild the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of twofold. And along the way, you get stopped by a whole host of seedy villains. Do you want to start talking about them?
Oh my god. So let's just go ahead and start with the Inquisitors first of all. And genuinely, one of the more interesting like main villains of a game, and within the Star Wars universe itself that I love is we've got is she the second sister?
Are you talking about...
I'm talking about Trilla.
She's the second sister.
She's the second sister. So the only ones that we meet in this game... Sorry, just clarifying real quick. The only sisters we really meet in this game are the second and the ninth sister, right? Okay. Interesting. That just hit me. Okay. Yeah, so...
There's a lot of other sisters.
Yeah. So your primary baddie, your main villain for this game is a woman named Trilla, who through the course of the game you find out was a Padawan of Seer before the fall of the Order. And then when she was captured, she was tortured into becoming one of the Inquisitors. Like I said, there are no happy characters in this game. It is all about trauma, guys. That is what this game is. And it's my favorite kind of villain for across anything, because we kind of touched on it a little bit when we did our Ori and the Blind Forest episode previously. Is that I love to hate a villain. I really, really do. I love like primary examples of like people like the Joker and shit like that, where you're just kind of like, there is nothing redeeming. I just want to watch you get murdered in whatever I'm doing. There's something much more interesting to watch in the sympathetic villain, and Trilla fits that to a point.
Absolutely,
because you are actively working against what they want. However, once you discover and know what they've gone through, you cannot help but feel sorry for them. And I love that is expressed through Cal as well in the game, is that there's points where after he knows what happens, he does, at the end of the game, he does look at her and go like, I know you're in a lot of pain. I get that. This isn't the way to handle that pain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you think of Trilla as a character?
Honestly, like, my first thought was like, the voice actress for Trilla is incredible.
So fucking good.
And she's written so well.
Just a shout out to this casts in general, everyone,
honestly,
not a missed note in the fucking game.
No,
they're
not at
so
all.
good.
And I also know that it's not just the voice acting, because a lot of this game was mocap.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
for sure.
Probably 99% of it was mocap.
Easily, yeah.
You, like, pay attention to the credits. There's, like, a bunch of actors named, and then there's, like, stunts people named.
Yeah.
Like, they out here doing that, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So, like, that was my first thought, was like, oh my god, Trilla is, one, being acted incredibly well, and also has been written so very well.
This script is so fucking solid for this game. The writing is just on point. It feels like, we talked about it a little bit before, but just like everything about this game feels like Star Wars, which to me is, you mentioned it too, just like it's such an achievement to make something feel like the genre it's meant to be in, but still feel different and interesting enough to where you're not just like, I'm looking at the same steps I've already seen before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Truth to tell you, I was like waiting for the like reveal of Trilla as the second sister, because there was like a point of her wearing a helmet and like not revealing her identity at the beginning of the game. And then there was this like very dramatic moment where Cal was like, well, what happened to your Padawan Trilla? Yeah. And Seer was like, she died.
Oh, yeah,
and it was very much like, no, she didn't. She
didn't die, you fucking liar.
And it's very Star Wars to, like, have the big baddie be the person
That's
from
what I was
the
going to
past.
say. Like,
it's so Star Wars.
If you've seen a Star Wars, you know what the drill is. It's like,
exactly. So, honestly,
if someone's vague about what happened to somebody else in the universe, they're probably the bad guy now.
But, like, I think it was kind of on purpose, because,
oh, yeah,
like, anybody playing this who's a fan of Star Wars, like, would know. You know that was kind of the zhuzh.
Yeah.
And so, like, once I had those 2 bits of information, I was like, okay, so when are we going to reveal it? Like, when's it going to happen? And it's going to be, like, this dramatic thing for the characters, you know?
Yeah.
Me as the audience member, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my finger on the pulse here. But when's it going to happen for the characters? So it's kind of exciting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I think that's again a testament to the writing of it too, is that you can see the steps coming, but still be excited when the reveal happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it doesn't matter. It's just like you want it, because you go, okay, so I see what you're doing, but now I want to know how you did it.
Yes,
exactly. which to me is the more exciting part of it. It's like the reveal's cool, but like it's how we got to the reveal is the more exciting part.
Definitely. What about some of the other villains that we run into along the cosmos?
There's some other stuff we mentioned briefly. The ninth sister, who was the actual character's name escapes me, and I didn't put it in the outline. I'm so sorry.
Like Misa or Isa, I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Basically, picture just like a big yellow orc. That's the best way that I could put it. Honestly,
that's a good way to put
it. Who is assumed to be sort of like the powerhouse of like of the Inquisitors and whatnot, because they're just they're just a brute force, and their fight is just that. You are fighting against just like pure strength and muscle.
But they do wield a double-sided lightsaber and use the Force, so like they're a Force wielder too.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying like not dangerous, because they're just like a big meathead.
Right.
It's take a roided out meathead, but give them magic powers as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a barbarian that multi-class in sorcery, pretty much.
Exactly.
I'm getting this D&D stuff.
Love that.
But even with that one, the small reveals you get from that character too, also, it all just lends into just like how nobody wanted to be an Inquisitor is basically the kind of gist of what it is. Yeah. Which is, again, it just makes it way more tragic. Of just like, just basically taking children and torturing them into doing things. But then on the opposite end of those two, and presumably the rest of the Inquisitors, because there's at least 9, supposedly 9. You've also got guys out there who I also find interesting, like Malakos, who you find on
Dathomir.
The Dathomir, who was also another Jedi who essentially just like saw shit going bad and fucking cut and run and bounced and just like hid the best he could, but also sat in pursuit of that power again. Just like the best way I could kind of picture Malakos is that he was somebody who was a Jedi who seemed good and upstanding, but was really there just like but didn't realize he was there for the power and the prestige of being a Jedi and being able to use that shit. And then when that got cut off from him, he just looked for the next way in order to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the one villain in the game that I was just kind of like, yeah, no, I don't want you around. I don't feel sympathetic for you at all. I
I didn't
kinda
feel
want you
bad for
gone.
the guy. I didn't feel bad for the guy at all.
Yeah.
I just want this over with so we can move on, please.
Yeah. I just felt like that character and the tone of that character was a little incongruous with the rest of the villains, which is okay.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I don't have time for you. Bye. Like,
Yeah. I think they wanted something that was sort of like, you kind of have all, with him, you kind of have like all three of the points of like what could happen. You have Cal, who just goes and, or like four points, because you have Cal who goes and hides, Sarah who cuts herself off completely so she doesn't end up on the dark side. You have Trilla who ends up on the dark side, and then you have someone like Malakas who doesn't really care about like good, bad, like the good side of the Force, bad side of the Force, is just looking for power. Period. And it's like however he can get it, whether that was from the Jedis or from abusing the Night Sisters' powers and using their magic and whatnot, is also a good one. Since we brought him up, let's talk about the whole Night Sister plot on Dathomir
I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And I was told after the fact that the Night Sisters featured more prominently in the cartoon Clone Wars.
Yeah. From what I know.
And I was like, that's fucking cool. And there was a Sith Lord that was a Night Sister.
Yes.
In Clone Wars, and also Dathomir is the planet that Darth Maul is from.
It's what
he's like the same species or like alien as the Night Brothers, who I assume are like related to the Night Sisters or are the same species. I don't know. I didn't quite understand that. I was like,
from what I was able to get from that is that they all kind of were under. Like, I think they were sort of like different tribes. Like, you had the Night Sisters and the Night Brothers, but they weren't like necessarily like combative towards each other.
Okay.
Until Malakas showed up and got. No, but the Night Sisters were already dead by that point, though.
Yeah.
Because they were a part of, not the Purge, they were part of another battle that happened earlier.
Yeah, the Jedi came and
the Jedi came and did some horrible shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. We'll get back to you guys on that.
Clearly, we are not Star Wars aficionados. There's like somebody watching right now that knows all of the
who
answers.
Is just pulling their
that
hair
is like
out.
Screaming at the screen right now.
We know who it is. It's our friend David. Should have consulted him as an expert on this.
Sorry, Dave.
Sorry, dude. Sorry. My bad. You tried to teach me these things, and I was not listening.
I really wanted to know more about the Night Sisters, though.
Same. It's a fascinating part of the story.
As a person who's consumed a minimal amount of Star Wars content, being like the movies and Force Unleashed, and Shadows of the Empire, when I was presented with the Night Sisters, I was like, what the fuck is this about? Like, more Force users that have like cool magic witchy powers. Like, I want to know more about that. Like, there's
necromancy in Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. I was shook.
Oh yeah. It throws you off at first.
Yeah.
Me too, because I know a little bit. I've kind of dived in a little bit more, just like from the games and some of the stuff too. But just like I knew nothing about the Night Sisters, so I was looking, going like, what the fuck is this shit? This is cool. Okay.
Yeah. Can we also talk about how the zombified Night Sisters had like wings or something like
sprouting out of their backs,
sewed into their back or something?
There was something really...
that must have happened after death because they don't have wings.
Yeah, that was something else real fucking
I was
nasty
like,
that was going on.
Man, this is a cool design.
I think that's what it is about that the plot line on Dathomir that is so... It feels like... It's not that it doesn't feel right in the universe. It's just such a different take within the Star Wars universe, and I think that like we were talking about, just like the general like Star Wars fan would think about it. It's like it's a little bit. It's like it is just like the gothic kids' take on Star Wars. It's like kind of what it. And I mean that in the best. Look at me. I mean that in the fucking best way possible.
Look at me.
I mean that sincerely in the nicest way possible. But it is something where it's like it's just adjacent enough to what you're used to that makes you go, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. There is something else different that you guys can do with. Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it also, again, it just helps expand the universe and expand like our knowledge of it and whatnot, which is always fun.
Mm-hmm. It's really weird. How do I want to put this? Mm-hmm. You have other societies, other like cultures and tribes and like species in the Star Wars galaxy that are both old and new, like the Ewoks or the Wookiees. You have like these big, like sprawling tree buildings, you know, and it seems like, oh, this is from like a bygone age. But then they also have like flying machines, like spaceships and blasters and things. So it's a weird kind of old meets new thing that you've always had with a lot of the species and cultures in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that applies to the Night Brothers and the Night Sisters too, I think, because like the Night Brothers that you're fighting, it's all of these old like wooden structures and like, these old like cities and like cave paintings, you know, and things. But then they also have like energy weapons.
Yeah, they have what looks like bow and arrows,
but it's a
laser that fires out.
Exactly. So that I think is what brings it in line with the other things that we've seen from Star Wars.
For sure, just enough like to kind of keep it.
Just enough, yeah.
Yeah, because if you did have it like, because if you did have like the Ewoks who are straight up using like old school tech with like bows and arrows and like shit like that, it would feel a little out of place in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense because you'd have them fighting the Empire with their AT-ATs and their guns. Like, that would be messed up.
Man, my God. Can you imagine if you did a whole movie where it was just like some creature you didn't know about that just like was using old-ass technology defeating basically fucking space Nazis with insanely advanced technology, and somehow a bunch of teddy bears took them down? That'd be nuts.
Yikes.
That'd be fucking crazy.
Well, we've talked about characters, and we talked a little bit about the plot. Let's talk a little bit about playing the game and some of our favorite moments from it.
There's nothing bad, I think, that can be said about the gameplay in this game. Like, honestly, it's frustrating at times, but that's by design of them making you be like, it is going to be so much more satisfying when you pull this shit off after struggling and fighting with it for so long.
Absolutely. And in particular, I think you're referring to the fighting.
Absolutely. The lightsaber fighting in particular is like, it is to me how like I am not trying to brag here. I have a very, very minimal experience when it comes to like training and stuff like this and whatnot. I trained with some MMA fighters when I was a kid in Iowa. I did karate for a lot of time, so I'm used to like sparring and grappling and stuff like that. Yeah. And to me, at least the way that I always approached it is like, this game to me kind of, at least how I played it anyway, fits to me the best way how you approach a fight. It is walking up and going, oh, okay, what can I do here? And it's like taking the moment to be like, it's 3 guys with blasters, there's 2 dudes with just like energy weapons who are gonna walk up and wreck my shit. That guy's that's a fucking that's a purge trooper. Okay, and let's just suss out our best strategies we can here, but then also abandoning it entirely and just going off the fucking fly.
Yeah, you have to like triage the situation a little bit and go, okay, I'm gonna get my day wrecked by those guys with blasters. So let me deflect their blaster bolts, kill them first. Take out any robots that are in the area, because robots always need to die first.
Fucking robots.
Especially the security droids.
The security droids are a bitch, no matter what.
And then after that, most dangerous melee combatant.
Yes, I agree with that.
And then everybody else.
And then everybody else, because it's just fodder at that point. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, there was a definite good way to go about fighting in this game, and a definite bad way.
Yeah,
there's also the impatient way, which is the bad way. Which is my way. Anytime I got my ass kicked in a fight, it was because I lost patience and I just wanted to get it done quickly, and it 100%, and it didn't work.
The game pretty much tells you, it's kind of like, you can't just like hack and slash your way through most of these fights.
No,
there's a couple at the beginning you could get away with that on, but I don't know. Just like the first place you go to, not Zepho. What's the
Bogano?
Is Bogano the first one you go to? The first temple you visit and whatnot, where you find BD1?
Yeah, Bogano.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just like go in there. There's a little side path you can take that puts you in this little dark room with one of the big frog creatures.
Yes.
But it's the one that's got the name.
Yeah.
Anytime you run into something anytime you run into something with a name in the game, you're fucked. Yeah. That's just general rule of thumb. Anything with a name means it's a fight that's going to suck and you're going to die a lot on it.
Yeah.
First time going to that, I was like, oh, intro boss fight. We'll be fine here.
100% nothing.
Just kicked my ass. And But then the game does this mean thing too, which I don't know how intentional it is or if it's anybody but me. But then the first time that happens, I was like, okay, I don't care what happens else, whatever else happens in this game now. My mission now is to kill this thing. Fuck the galaxy, fuck the kids. I am killing this giant frog thing, and nothing else happens until this is fucking done.
Yes.
And that's it.
I agree. I 100% agree with that sentiment. Because I did the same thing, but only with the albino Yotaz, I think it's called, on Zepho, the big, like, hulking guy that, like, swings at you.
Oh, I hate that thing.
Those things were annoying.
That thing's annoying because there's no strategizing for its movement. That thing is fucking chaos. Like, it doesn't matter what you want to do. At least Frog thing you could predict a little bit better.
Yeah. Which brings me to my one gripe about the game. Is that Cal is the Jedi that cannot fucking move. He is the slowest goddamn Jedi in the galaxy.
He really is.
And I know, like, there's things that you can do.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'm just like, move. Like,
there's a lot of moments, like, again, harkening back to our episode we just did about Ori and the Blind Forest. There's a lot of moments where I just wanted to grab him and just be like, Cal, I fucking love you, but listen. When I push block, that means block.
Oh, yeah.
Learning how to parry is such a learning curve.
Yeah.
But probably the most effective learning curve to get through because, like, parrying attacks is just you need to learn how to parry in this fucking game.
So get this, I was playing through and I was on Kashyyyk 2. So when you go to Kashyyyk for the second time. And I got this achievement that was like parried 100
nice
enemies. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, like whatever. And our editor was watching and he was like, oh, I didn't even get that achievement. I never did that. And I was like, how did you go you got through the whole game without parrying 100?
Garrett, what the fuck?
Yeah, what
how? How?
I was shocked.
Watch, we're gonna get like 1,000 people now somehow. This will be our episode that blows up.
Right.
1,000 people are just like, I never used parry in the whole fucking game, and I beat on the hardest difficulty.
Right, exactly. Nightmare difficulty, one life. Like,
you're just like, all right.
Yeah. Well, clearly this is not the type of game that I will be good at. So, ever.
Yeah. But as part of that too, just like, and to kind of use this as a jumping point, I think part of that goes the slow movement for Cal. I think part of that goes along with it. They really wanted to make sure they didn't make a game that felt like Force Unleashed. Because that was the last equivalent that at least that I had in terms of like using a lightsaber, using the Force as a Force user in the game and whatnot. And this is very much not that tone, not that feel. So I think they were doing as much as they could to make sure that it didn't feel like that. Because in Force Unleashed, I love the game. I love the first Force Unleashed game. It's so much fun. But it is like, you start the game being able to yoink TIE fighters off of like the thing. So it's like, bit of a different feeling. This one's a little bit more reserved in its use of the Force and whatnot.
But I like that it scaled up over time.
It did.
Okay, you can like push one enemy and then, now you push a few enemies and then even more. You know, I liked that it kind of scaled up as Cal in the story was healing his connection to the Force. I thought that was like really good, like, storytelling through the gameplay.
Yeah, I love that stuff too. Oh, and the little flashbacks to like him as like a young Padawan training and whatnot.
Yes, and like remembering those things about
I didn't put him on here, but to take 2 seconds here, I want to talk about his master really quickly here, Jorah Patal. I think
Jorah Tapal.
Tapal, thank you. Is just a really well balanced character because he is the no bullshit. We train, we do this. You work hard. You know, like eat your oats and then you come out and train. Whatever. Blah blah blah. I don't know what I'm going for on that one, but anyway,
eat your oats like a good horse.
Like a good horse. You know what I'm trying to say. Just like, you know, eat your protein and then get to training.
Here's your lightsaber. Yeah. Here's your oats, and you're a horse. I had
to. Trying to move on so we can get past the John Mulaney reference. I felt coming.
I couldn't. I'm sorry. It was right there.
Yeah. But just like a wonderful balance of like the no bullshit like master trainers. Like you gotta fucking work hard to get to where you need to be, but also still feel like a very sympathetic and empathetic character within the universe. So you could tell like cares about Cal and cares about the Jedi Order and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So just, we didn't mention him earlier, so I just want to give him a quick shout out.
Yeah.
And just like those sections of the game were just like fun, delightful parts. Right up until the last one you go to when you're going through and you can like go talk to the clone troopers and like you high five one and shit.
My god, yes.
And I'm just like, I know what's coming. This is gonna suck so much.
Yep.
No.
And then the trauma hits.
And then the trauma hits. Jedi Fallen Order, and then the trauma hits. But
I was just gonna say it's a really good moment because it's cool to like see yet another moment of the Purge. You know?
Yeah.
Especially like if you are a Star Wars fan, it's always cool to see like more facets of a really influential and magnanimous event that occurs in the universe.
It is probably the most important moment that happens in Star Wars.
Oh no, absolutely,
because it sets off the whole next part of the trilogy, and it's like it's what spawns the rebellion, all this other stuff and whatnot. So it's like to get more aspects on that, but also not it just adding more texture to it is good too, because it's not like you're watching something and going like, I've seen this, I know what this is. Right. You know what I mean? Right. It's like you said it yourself. It's another aspect to it too that's really cool to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just like to talk about just like to kind of keep going on about like the use of the Force in the game and whatnot. It's cool because it's like you said it yourself. It's like as you regain your connection, you feel more powerful. But this game never makes you feel overpowered. Like you're never Vader walking through rooms and just slamming people against the walls and shit like that.
Certainly does not do that.
Yeah, but you do feel more capable as you play the game.
Absolutely,
like your skills do grow, and that feeling is very, very satisfying and present throughout the game. So just in that design too, anything that makes like learning skills in the game feel like it's integral to the plot, I absolutely applaud in the video game because it's so cool the way they make it feel that way.
Are we gonna talk about some of our other favorite moments, like especially when he goes through the mirror, in the vault, before he gets the holocron, that whole segment is
that whole sequence of just so basically, you get to a section of the game where you're about to get control of the holocron that has all the Force sensitive children's names in it, and through that connection with the Force, as any Star Wars fan knows. Every Jedi kind of gets a sense of what happens in the future and what can happen presently in front of them. But I think in this moment, the idea is that like this kind of heightens that and lets you kind of really take a step and look forward into what can possibly happen. And so you get this insight of Cal taking the holocron and gathering the children whose names are in it and trying to reestablish the Jedi Order, but then the Empire and the Inquisitors still find them and show up. And you get one of the greatest fucking reveals ever in a TV show, game, movie, fucking whatever. This moment's so good. So a mechanic in the game is that in any dark area, you can turn on your lightsaber and hold it up and basically use it as like a flashlight to get through things.
I'm realizing we didn't say spoilers ahead.
Major spoilers. So many spoilers.
If you're going to play this game, do not listen any further.
Don't listen. Just stop. Because this is the first time
don't want to be ruined on this. The first time this
moment happened to me, I gasped. It's so good. So if you've never played it, stop now and go play the game. Please. Yep. I am begging you. It is on Game Pass. Go fucking play it. Please. Okay. I think that's enough warnings before we get into this.
Yeah, that's good.
But so you're going through that and you get to the point of which that like you're now going through like an Empire ship.
It's like very Empire-y, and you've seen like flashes of the kids that you were training, like locked up in prison, getting tortured,
in a torture device,
the whole thing.
And then you get locked in this little hallway between two doors, and all the lights go off, and either you know instinctively at this point to turn on your lightsaber and use the lights, or a little prompt shows up and says, turn your lightsaber. But now your saber is red, and you are in full Inquisitor garb, and you're just kind of like, oh my god! Like it's such a good punch, and everything in you is just like, I don't want this. I don't want this at all. This is no. I mean, unless you're fucked up and you're one of those weird people who like watching people turn to the dark side. But anyway,
it's so finessed because you're not expecting it in the slightest because the game hasn't done anything like that sort of reveal or that whole segment really up until this point. So this whole segment, you're just kind of walking through, you're not fighting anything, very like linear. And,
it has had like kind of trippy dream sequences throughout the game, so that doesn't come out of nowhere.
But especially with the lights go out and then they come back up, everything's kind of different. Having your lightsaber change color, like it's so good.
It's so perfectly well done. And again, the use of it being I think that moment would work well in a movie. If you shot it, it would work great in a movie. But something about you doing it yourself. It's what we always talk about, that feeling of being truly immersed in a video game and being a part of it. And making you do the control that makes the reveal happen is so fucking good. We talked a little bit about like the Padawan training stuff, so this kind of goes into both, but just about like gameplay and favorite moments. But just, I'm a big Tomb Raider fan, not the original games, the reboot trilogy that they did recently.
Sure.
Something else we should do for the podcast, by the way.
Okay.
Throwing that out there. It's just like, so to say that I love the platforming in this game, to me it means something, because like the Tomb Raider and Uncharted games to me hit platforming in a 3D world perfectly and absolutely nailed it. This game is so fucking good when it comes to just like running around and jumping between like platforms and stuff like that and exploring and doing. I understand there's a bit of frustration because sometimes the exploration isn't always as fruitful as you would hope it might be in this game.
Yeah.
But I just, especially on this one, just found the act of exploring just to be super satisfying. It's why it took me so long to beat it, honestly, because I just would find myself wandering around going like, well, what's over here?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to explore in the game too, is the thing.
I have like one little nitpicky thing about the platforming. And it's really nitpicky because I think you're right. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
For the most part. I wish that the like beams that you could walk on, I wish their hitbox was like a little bit wider, or that you homed in a little bit more on them.
Yeah.
Because I found like a few times I would like be jumping from like one beam to the next.
You know, that lineup will fuck you up sometimes.
And you like can't just like line it up, and I'm like, fuck, come on, like you know.
Game, you know what I was trying to do here.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you being a dick about this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nope, I get that, and I also
so
have that same
nitpicky.
frustration.
It's really nitpicky, and it doesn't affect you badly, really, when you fall off terribly. So
it doesn't. I will say, if there's one area that they were nice to be kind of forgiving on, it is just like falling off of shit.
Absolutely.
It just like resets you right where you were before, and just like, you lost some health, keep going, come on.
Yeah. Come on, you got this.
Yeah. But while we're talking about just the running and jumping in this game, last part of the game uses it excellently in your run away from, again, spoilers, because this is also an incredible fucking reveal in this game.
Yeah.
So if you're still listening and you want to experience this first off, stop it. Because the last chunk of the game is you running away from fucking Darth Vader.
It's a really nice kind of reward.
Yeah, it really is in a weird way.
At the end of the game, it's like, and the real bad guy's here too. Like, you know, you're important enough that Vader will come for you.
Yeah, Vader will show up and push your shit in, basically.
Exactly.
And it's just...
don't appreciate how it's like, we're going to fight Vader at first, because you just got off that really, really difficult fight with Trilla.
Yes.
Right before.
Which is a rough fight. The fight with Trilla is rough. Satisfying as hell once you get it down, but it's a rough fight.
Yeah, but you're coming off of that. You have no health stims at all.
Yeah.
You're not no force. You're like half dead. And then Vader comes in, and the game makes you think you're gonna fight Vader.
Yeah.
But then it's like, not just kidding.
And it's like, no, survival horror time. Go!
Yeah, good luck.
And it's just like, I'm such a fan of anything within Star Wars that truly like represents Vader as the terrifying presence that he fucking truly is. Like, this is a dude that the Emperor has to keep in check at all times, because he knows if Vader turns, he's fucked and done.
Yeah.
Because the moment Vader does turn, the Emperor's fucked and done, so...
Spoilers.
Yeah. Sorry, he spoiled the movies that are like 50 fucking years old at this point. More than that.
God,
Jesus.
are they 50? No.
They came out in the late 60s.
No, they didn't. They came out in the
did.
80s.
No, they didn't.
The 60s, Jordan.
Originally, we will Google this shit.
Look it up.
Right now.
A New Hope came out in like 84.
No. A New Hope come out. Okay, 1977. We were both wrong.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
We were both way, way wrong, as it turns out.
Okay. When did the next one come out?
That would have been like the 80s.
Okay.
Because if that was 77, and at least like a couple of years between like
yeah,
then that was the 80s. All
77,
right.
That's surprising.
77, yeah.
Okay, it wasn't the 60s.
It wasn't the 80s either.
Okay. Okay, so it's 77, so 3, 20, 23, 43. It's 44 years old.
44 years old. I was close. I said like 50 years old. I was over. I understand in Price is Right rules I lost, but I was still close.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, back on point. Oh, man. Why aren't we a top-rated podcast? Man? With just like wonderful insights like that. Just stop in the middle of the episode to go, when did the fucking Star Wars come out?
Sometimes you need to stop your podcast in its tracks and figure some shit
to figure stuff out. The last thing that I want to talk about, we can keep going if you want, but the last little thing that I want to talk about, and just like it's always my favorite parts of any games like this. Anything that has to do with like a crew or like a party of people working together is just watching like the bonds grow, like watching Cal with Sarah and Grease, and then later on with Marin when she shows up on the crew and whatnot. And of course BD1. I will always bring up BD1 and because they make a point in the game at one point during a scene of dialogue is that Sarah goes, he's a part of the crew. He's not just a droid. BD1 is a part of this goddamn crew, and he will address him as such. And it's just like, I don't know, just like watching the bonds grow and like kind of like connect together with each other, because something that immediately was interesting to me with this game, and again, more stuff we're talking about within this game that we should have talked about earlier, but Cal's main connection to the Force is through the echoes that he finds, which are these little like leftover like patches of memory, I guess as you would call them. Yeah. That is like his unique Force abilities, that he can find these and listen to them and connect through them.
Right. The idea is he can like touch an object and like intuit like a memory associated with it.
Yes, exactly. And then again, it hit me on this run through that I was kind of like, oh, we are playing through a game with a Jedi whose main power is empathy. It is being able to empathize with somebody else's pain and trauma by listening to their memories and understanding what they're going through. And I just think that's... Yeah. I don't know. I just think that's interesting because like that is something that I've always found to be like, just speaking outside the game, just like as humanity as a whole, is that it's like empathy is one of the best tools that we have, and just like as human beings, is that we can connect with each other without fully understanding each other. It's like you can share experience with me and I won't understand exactly what you went through, but I can understand what that caused you and how it's made you the person that you are today. Yeah. And so I just love that the fact that the game is like, it's all about just being able to, it's just going like, listen, our past is our past. Our mistakes are our mistakes. That none of that stuff goes away, but it is how we move forward and learn that we are not alone in this pain and in this struggle. I don't know. Especially for something that is a AAA title in just a very marketable franchise that didn't need that in order to like make sales just based on name and title alone. Is just like, and within that too, there's like the effort of the gameplay and everything else that went into it, and the acting and the writing and whatnot. It's just like, you should always put in the effort, but for something where you didn't need it and you definitely would have sold units, it's so nice to see still.
Yeah, it's like the complete package.
Yeah, it really, really is. Yeah. Just like all around, just like one of my favorite games.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, incredibly well made game. So just, I don't know, just thank you to the Fallen Order crew for putting together such a wonderful, wonderful fucking game. All right, now that we've just spent all of our time talking about how much we love Jedi the Fallen Order, now it's time to see how much of a real Star Wars fan Brendan is.
Admittedly, not very much.
Shush, you are the master of all things Star Wars.
Nope.
You know all there is to know about it, so let's take that knowledge for a test run, shall we?
Really don't.
I have
seen some of the movies one time. I have seen all of the movies.
Right.
And I've seen Rogue One.
Yeah.
Which is one of the movies. Wait. I've seen the first 6 movies. And I've seen the 7th one, which is called the one with Daisy Ridley.
Garrett or somebody out there, please. I need that Photoshop of Star Wars the one with Daisy Ridley. Because that's so good. That's so good. I love it so much.
Force Awakens. That's
the one. It's Force Awakens.
But I haven't seen 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on what fan you talk to, just like you're doing yourself a favor on that one. But
oh, fool.
I'm just saying. So anyway, point being is that for this game, I have created a list of just names. They're just names. Some of them are from Star Wars. Some of them are not. Anyone who's familiar with Star Wars knows that the entirety of the Star Wars universe has some ridiculous sounding fucking names. So we're going to see how many... So basically, I've got it split. There's real Star Wars names and fake Star Wars names. We're going to see if Brendan can tell which cipher out the real Star Wars names versus the fake Star Wars names. This is gonna be interesting.
It's so bad.
All right, Brendan.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready?
I'm gonna rely mostly on memory.
Yeah.
Like, if I've heard the name before, then I'm gonna say, yeah, Star Wars name. And if I haven't heard it before, I'm gonna say, no, it's fake.
Okay.
That's my strategy.
Perfect.
Going into this.
We've got 20 names altogether.
20.
20.
God.
You ready?
Okay, no.
All right. Ben Minto.
Ben Mento.
Yes.
No, that's fake. This can't be real. I say fake. Fake Star Wars name.
You're right. That's fake.
Yes.
Well done.
Haha.
You
My
got
strategy's working so far.
I'm going to just make sure that I delete these as we go along, too, so I don't get confused or lost. All right. The next one, Balin Lacken.
Balin Lacken. Also fake. Also fake.
Damn, you're doing good so far.
Yes!
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. All right.
I was a professional all along.
All right. Slide Paramita.
I'm going to say that that's a real one, and here's why. You had a hard time saying it. And so I think that it's real, because if it was something you came up with, you wouldn't have had a hard time saying it.
I gotta work on how I say these things. Yeah, that's a real one.
Yes!
That's a real one.
Yes! I'm 3 for 3.
Yep. All right. Harlington Babu.
Harlington Babu. I'm going to say that's real. Because I think you sat there and looked at it and was like, how am I going to say this? Is it
That's
real?
a fake one.
No!
Yeah!
Oh, well,
okay, so it's 3. You've gotten 3. That's your first miss.
Yeah,
okay.
that's my first miss.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Still doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Arc Bumpy Roos.
Surely not. Arc
Bumpy Roos.
Can you spell Bumpy Roos?
Bumpy Roose.
I just, I'm going to say fake.
Saying fake?
Yeah.
That is a real Star Wars name.
No!
Yep.
Bumpy Roos?
Bumpy Roos. He's a pod racer.
Oh, no.
Hey, I didn't say where I was pulling these names from. I also don't know where all of these are from. I kind of just went through like a Star Wars like Wikipedia list of names.
Oh, great.
I just know Arc Bumpy Roos because that name is insane.
That is insane. That is an insane name.
All right.
I thought, surely, no, you've thrown that in to throw me off. Make
Yep.
me think that it's a real name.
All right, and moving along. Punch Buchen.
That sounds familiar. I'm going to say real.
It's fake.
Damn it.
I took what you're probably thinking of as Poe.
Maybe.
From Force Awakens, which
Okay.
is similar, and I kind of wanted to play with that a little bit.
I thought Paunch. I was like, that's a great name for a character.
I know, right?
Berg. It's so simple.
Berg.
Real.
Yeah, that's a real one.
Yes! I think that's 4 now.
Something like that. I don't remember.
Somebody keep count.
Yeah, somebody else keep track. Hey, editor, keep track for me.
That's so mean.
I know.
Please keep
keep track of me. I appreciate you. Babu Frick.
Babu Frick. Is that all one? Or is his first name Babu, last name Frick?
I'll give you that one. First name Babu, last name Frick.
Okay. I'm going to say fake.
That's a real one.
Dang.
He's from episode 9.
Oh,
he shows up.
I haven't seen that.
Just one of the ones you have not seen. Wallace Trillingham.
Oh, good old Wallace. Yes, real.
You're saying real?
Yeah.
That's fake.
Damn it.
That one was the Cal's master in the game, whose name I already forgotten.
Joro Tapal.
Joro Tapal. That voice actor is Travis Willingham, so I just did a different version of his name.
Is in my noggin.
You're doing better than I thought you were gonna do, honestly.
Thank you.
All right.
With my whole 4 correct.
You're doing great. Let's go Mac Cheddar.
Is cheddar spelled like cheddar, but with T's?
Chater.
Oh, chatter.
Yes.
Aha. I'm going to say real.
It's another fake one.
Fuck. Man, this is hard.
You're doing good. You're doing fine.
I was hoping that there would be some like easy ones thrown in here, like Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh yeah, that's a real one. Or like some obscure characters too, even like
These are. What do you think all these are? That's all I did.
Like Sebulba or.
That's not an obscure character.
Oh, fine.
Zitan Maj.
Real.
Yeah, that's a real one.
Haha.
Right.
5 I'm at now. Maybe?
I think so. Something like that.
5 or so.
Yeah. Saad Kazi.
Real.
That is actually one of the developers from the game.
So it is a real Star Wars name.
All right, fine. You can count it if you want.
Aha!
All right. Mayo.
What?
Mayo.
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 M-I-O.
M-Y-O.
M-Y-O. Yeah, that's a real name.
Yep, you're right.
Yes.
It's a real one. I'm going to start kind of going through this a little bit faster.
Go for it.
Mars Guo.
Mars Guo. That sounds like a real name. Like, I could see that being a real name. I'm going to say real.
Okay, yeah, that's a Star Wars name.
Yes!
Jinho Jang.
Jinho Jang. Is it like Jin-Ho?
No, one name. Jinho is one.
Jinho.
How you spelled it, but it's Jinho, no dash.
Okay. Jinho. What's last name?
Jang.
As if that's gonna help me. I'm gonna say fake Star Wars name.
Damn it, you got it.
Yes, I'm at like 7 or 8 now.
You're doing good.
I'm doing marvelously well compared to what I thought I would do.
Right? Panda Boba.
Panda Boba.
Some of these are just fun to say.
I think that's real.
That's a real one. You're doing good, man.
Yes. Oh, Mr. DJ. Oh, Panda Boba.
Oh my god! Why does it work so well? Can we get like some dancing lights for that part? And we got Rats Tyrell.
Rats Tyrell. What do they call it? I'm Rats Tyrell.
I thought it was more like, Rats Tyrell.
Rats Tyrell. Rats Tyrell.
It's the SpongeBob. Nosferatu.
Or it could be an exclamation like, Rats Tyrell.
As long as I'm doing the name Tyrell, there's rats.
I say fake Star Wars name, not real.
It's another pod racer.
Man.
All right, we're getting down to the last few here. We're getting down to it. I wonder. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just tell you because this will make it fun. There are 3 names left. We have 2 fake, 1 real.
Okay. Are you gonna give me all of them at the same time?
Yeah, let's do that because I just realized I made a mistake.
Because if you
No, it's just like in saying that because now you could just like do
because if I did the first one I would like no.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, you're right.
Yeah. Give me all the last 3.
We'll do an ABC.
Great. Okay. And I have to figure out which one of them is real. One real. Right?
One is real.
One
there we
real.
go. I like this. This is better.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Much
so,
better.
A. Elo Asti.
Okay.
B. Dum Dum Dugan. C. Hamzen Brandhoon. I will repeat any that you would like me to repeat.
I would like you to repeat all of them, please.
Okay. We have Elo Asti, Dum Dum Dugan, Hamzen Brandhoon.
Okay, I don't think it's Hamzen Brandhoon.
Okay.
Because it's close to my name. I think you made that up. Close to my name. Dum Dum Dugan also seems like bait. Like, oh, it's so silly, it can't be real. I don't know. Elo Asti is the only one that sounds like it could vaguely be maybe a real name, which makes me also not want to pick it.
You gotta pick one of these.
I know. This is gonna be so bad. I'm gonna go with Elo Asti, and I really hope I'm right.
You are correct.
Yes! So,
and you were right about the last one. I did just take your name and try to Star Warsify it.
Yeah.
And I just, it was a mean little thing I did. So, Dum Dum Dugan is a real name. Not in Star Wars, he's a Marvel character.
Well, that makes sense. It's doing the like.
Yeah, it's got the
initialize the Stan Lee thing.
Yeah, the Stan Lee thing where it's all like yeah.
So I get like 3 points for the last ones, right?
Yeah, let's say that. Fine.
Yeah,
I'm not keeping track of scores. I don't know what that
I got
does for
at least half then.
You did. I think you did better than both of us expected. Honestly,
I certainly did better than I expected.
Thank you so much for listening to our episode on Jedi Fallen Order. What did you guys think of the game? Was it a good installment into the Star Wars universe, or was it just not the right fit for you? Let us know.
As always, you can find us everywhere at 3VO Podcast. You can send us an email at 3VOpodcastteam@gmail.com as well if you have any ideas or suggestions for the show. Please follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere. And be looking forward to the information we're going to be releasing about our Patreon. And as always, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, like all of our posts everywhere. If you start following us and interact with us, like we're on there. We'll talk to you. If you want to just leave a little comment, we'll respond to you. So just get out there and interact with our content. It makes a huge difference, and we'll see you next time. Bye.